The following is a compLexity production.
1, 2, 3, compLexity!
This is the press conference, streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Oh, you don't be serious, man!
You've got questions, we've got answers. And now, your hosts, compLexity.
Hello and welcome everybody to the press conference. My name is Kim, I'm your host for today, and I'm so excited to be back here. Always love being here with you guys, and for those of you very astute viewers, you might notice that right next to me it's not beef for the very first time.
Beef! We've upgraded.
Your words, not mine. You probably know him. It is Scott Ford. Scott, how are you doing?
Good, man. I'm in my third seat now here. So your seat, I'm coming for next. So just make sure the questions are right.
We'll have him host when you go on vacation.
Yeah. I think he'll
There
make
you go.
it.
You talked yourself into a job.
Got to do it in life.
Speaking of vacation, you just came back from a cruise.
Yes.
Jason Lake, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm rested and got a little sunshine and ready to get back to work. Kyle's off to Iceland. That's why he's not here.
Complete opposite.
I go to the Caribbean. He goes to Iceland. Like, come on.
Couldn't figure that one out.
You know?
I thought it was a business trip, honestly. I was like, he's going to Reykjavik? Must be for business.
Nope.
Well, to round out this perfect panel today, Matt,
How's it going,
how are you
guys?
doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to be back. I'm on my second seat. Took Lakes one time when he was out, but this is generally the spot I fill. It's good to be back in the seat.
It's good to have you here because, you know, there's a lot of CS to talk about, so it's only fitting that we have you here.
Yeah.
Might as well jump right into it.
Sure, sounds good.
We've had a lot of action lately. Last week we played the ECS qualifiers. Want to walk us through that?
Yeah, it was an exciting week for us. A little disappointing at the end that we didn't finish it versus Rogue, but you know, we started off the week on Monday. I believe we played E United, and that was just a tough game. It was a 2-1 win, and those guys are real scrappy. It's a really young roster full of just a ton of talent, and for us to come out and fight the way we did, I was really proud of the win because, like I said, those guys weren't, you know, they were trying really hard, and they were making all kinds of scrappy, really hard things to play against type plays, and they were playing fearless, and for us to combat them, and I think we even lost map 1, if I remember right. Yeah, we did. We lost map 1, and then we won map 2 and map 3. So for us to win that match like that was really good. And then the second match, help me out here. NRG, that's right. The 2-0 versus NRG. And that was just impressive, you know, for the guys to come out after the major. You know, everyone's saying that it was kind of fluky. You know, we just played really well at the major, and for them to come out.
And they have Tarek now.
Yep, and they got Tarek. You know, everybody knows we tried for him and didn't get him. So for us to come out and respond to that quality of team was really nice. And then, of course, the finals game was just a brawl. Rogue guys showed up. They wanted to play. You know, they wanted a brawl, and they got one. And it was just a crazy game. We had multiple chances on, I think it was Inferno.
Double overtime.
Yeah, to finish, where I think we had them 15-11 at some certain point. And so that was just a heartbreaker. You know, nobody felt good about how we lost, but we felt good with our week's performance overall. So we're just going to come back this week, leading us into, I guess, ECS week 2, and played Bad News Bears last night. And they're also another little kind of puggy type young team that they don't have a lot to lose. So those teams can be hard to play against from time to time. And we were able to 2-0 them. So that's a good sign. And starting tomorrow, I think we got Furia. So I think we're going to end up in the finals again. And it looks like, knock on wood, it's probably going to be versus NRG again. So, you know, we're hoping we can handle business again this week.
Yeah, I mean, like you said,
We've got 2 people remote right now. Jordan's in California, and we're dealing with visa stuff with Rick, who's in Canada, which makes it a little harder. It's always easier to play with 5 people in the same room than people kind of scattered around, and their pings aren't always ideal. So, been fighting a little bit of adversity, but hopefully we can finish it off this week.
Absolutely. Teams separated right now, so that means, you know, getting on for practice is always a little bit weird. You know, you say a time, Jordan might roll in 5 minutes late, you know, something like that. So it's just, you know, we'd rather have the team all in one location, like Jason said. But, you know, everybody's playing well. The team's motivated. Peter's doing a great job leading the team right now. Our trajectory is up, which is a great thing.
All right, that's good. I think, well, fans will be pleased to hear that. Speaking, though, of what they want to hear, Jason, you might know where I'm going with this, but is there anything you can tell us about the roster at all?
I mean, after every major, you know, there's a lot of roster movement, roster mania, whatever you want to call it. We're seeing it in Europe. There's rumors floating about Cloud9 and Rogue and others in North America. And, you know, it's a time when you evaluate the roster. And see if there's potential upgrades and changes that need to be made. We've done tons of homework over the past few weeks, spent an exhaustive amount of time reviewing different options, and we're in particularly a unique position where we kind of have a stand-in, right? Jordan was never meant to be permanent. He's coming out of retirement, and we're still speaking with him to see what his longer term goals are going to be. And I mean longer term, like, 2019, not like a 3-year plan or anything. And even though we're only a few days away from roster lock, we're still sorting that out. So, there's a lot of different potential directions we could go. And we've spoken with a lot of really interesting players. Beyond just skill, it's important to us, that we have someone that'll move here because we believe in training in the same location, and B, just a like-minded player that's mature, knows how to handle himself, and is going to be a good fit, because not all the quote-unquote star players would be a good fit in any one particular team. So I always say it's much more of an art form than it is a science, and our fans can be rest assured that we've spent a good amount of time. I don't know, honestly, that we're going to see any large changes, and we're still trying to figure out what direction we're going to go with Jordan and who might fill that seat should he, go back into retirement right now. So as of this week, unfortunately, I don't have any solid updates because it's still literally in flux.
Right. What we do have this week, though, for all the fans, is a new episode of Through the Smoke.
Yeah.
Who watched it? Yeah. Who watched it?
I haven't seen it yet. Came out today.
Yeah, it just came out.
Like an hour ago.
Yeah. What'd you think of it?
I loved it. And I was watching it, and of course we release on YouTube, and I was like, this is like a docu-series I feel like I could be watching on a different platform. The big Netflix and Amazon, whatever it may be. It felt so good. And then you'd think, I love documentaries, so you see multi-camera documentaries, all this, and this was all filmed by Sean. One guy over there in Poland by himself. So you really just sit back and just really, really enjoy it. And not taking away from our editors here who are help doing all that, but it's a one-camera shoot. And it is an amazing documentary to watch.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the team. I think the quality of the series is great. Since we've revamped our content efforts since moving to Texas, I think we've put out some of the best content in the business. And, this series is really, I think, next level, like Scott said. Could totally see it on a Netflix or something like that. And that just, is kudos to the content team and all the people that are involved in the planning and the editing and everything else. And obviously Sean Doe for all the hustle in Poland. And it's very long hours, and it's challenging circumstances sometimes. And guys are losing a critical match and you got a camera in their face. It's not always the easiest job. But yeah, I'm really stoked about the series and our transparency, and we're going to continue pushing those types of efforts forward in the future.
Yeah, me and Sean's relationship is unique. It's get the camera away, Sean. Shut the camera off, Sean. Not right now, Sean.
When it's even just amazing, like watching them in today's episode, after we lose a match and Sean's there talking, he's like getting them to talk, and they're talking, and it's just like, that's what you want to see. So you can already feel the players buying into what we're doing, no matter what they might be feeling at the moment.
Yeah, it's cool. It's actually probably, I would say it's taken about a year to get some of these guys completely comfortable to the point where they're willing to have these fully exposed conversations and just forget about the camera.
Exactly.
So
trust has been established with both Sean and the editing team and the organization, and I think they're pretty candid usually. And I think it's a great product, and I think the next episode is going to be kick-ass as well.
My favorite part about the show personally is I was just thinking about, as a Counter-Strike player growing up, what I had to show me what a tournament scene looked like. And I had the SK videos, random people walking around CPL, just standing behind people. So,
and Redemption, right? We were one of the first ones to show.
We were, but I'm talking about, I was established.
When you were,
I'm talking about when I was a baby. So I can't imagine some of these kids coming up that are 14, 15, they get to load this content up and just see this amazing world of tournament gaming.
100%.
It's got to be fantastic.
For sure.
Speaking of the young guns, I mean, one emerging esports scene, in my opinion, Madden. We're sort of seeing the rise of Madden as an esports. We have Drini as a player, obviously, and he's been putting a lot of grind in. These events are getting bigger and bigger. The finals just now, MaddenChallenge last weekend, broadcast on, I want to say, ESPN? No, not ESPN. It was broadcast on some television.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but yeah, it's getting bigger. So, but yeah, speaking of Madden, we had Drini and MaddenChallenge.
He had a great event.
An incredible run into the finals.
So
Want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so close to his second event. I mean, you look at who he played to start with Kiv and Prodigy and VY. Like, those are no walkover opponents to, you know, get to the final. And the final was such a heartbreak, losing in overtime. And Drini wants it so much. You see his tweets where, you know, it's no social media, it's no nothing else. He is in the grind, he is practicing, and this is, you know, this is what he wants to do. And I think he's qualified for all the majors this season. He's gotten closer in each one, so it's like, you know, I wish the next major was tomorrow, because even after 2 or 3 days, he'd come out and be in that final again.
Yeah, he's playing really well.
I mean,
and even in the last game, I don't know if you've got that far yet, but he had some really bad just video game luck.
No, yeah, of course.
Random. I mean, he threw a bad pick. He would be the first to tell you he shouldn't have thrown that ball, but he had a couple fumbles and a blocked kick. Like, really? Yeah. It was just, you know, sometimes stuff happens. It was not good luck.
Are fumbles completely random in that game, or can you protect against them?
The UI wasn't on our side.
Yeah, the UI was not on our side is a good way to put it. And it couldn't have happened in a worse time.
And it's especially unfortunate because this was the tournament, right? This was the one. He was the champion last year. He was going to defend his title. It was this close.
This is where he feels the most comfortable. So everything kind of just lined up as soon as he made that final.
Yeah. Well, but you know, we still believe in him, and the Madden Bowl is coming up. He is automatically qualified for that.
Yeah, he's got enough points, and he's qualified. He's in. He's kicking ass. Very proud of him.
And that's coming up, I believe, next month as well. So exciting times ahead. In other news, very successful lately, Mackwood and Hogman at Fortnite. They've been crushing it. Yeah. They won the Co-Red tournament, and now they won the Scallywag Cup. I mean, they're heating up for the World Cup.
Yep. Perfect timing to be getting hot, and we finally found kind of the right duo. Hogman's teamed with a couple good players, didn't seem to quite have the chemistry, but these two seem to have it.
I don't watch a ton of Fortnite. I'll be honest.
That's like, why are you looking at me, man?
I watch more Apex Legends than Fortnite, but you know, I see Hogman at the office all the time. I know he's dedicated. It's obvious that he's going to have some success soon. So, you know, I loaded up the stream one night last week and checked him out. I told him about that, but other than that, Fortnite's not really my game.
It's just crazy because last week, coming into press conference, it was just announced the tournament. Right. That they were just going to, you know, test it out, do $100,000 just to test the payment system, make sure it works. And, you know, we found that funny going back in esports, like 100K used to be double what our majors were, you know?
Yeah.
And then we're here next week and our two guys won it. So it's a good week.
Oh, for sure. And again, we're looking forward to what they can do coming into the World Cup. It's going to be exciting.
It still blows my mind that they're having these like 100 to, I think it even goes up higher, online events, $100,000 for like a couple hours on a weekend.
I mean, the qualifier is $1 million a week.
It's incredible, man.
It's unbelievable.
And again, it's not.
It's actually
it's not for teams of 5. It's for like one guy or for like 2 guys.
Yeah.
You know,
it's actually sickening how much money is going on over there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's something else.
Watch Through the Smoke today. There's some Fortnite stuff in there.
All right.
Anyway, this already leads us to the Q&A section of this show. And again, if you ever have a question that you want to ask us, hit us up on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, wherever you want to message us. Use hashtag ColdPC. We're always looking forward to seeing your questions, especially, you know, when it's some of our most dedicated fans. And just straight up variables.
Yeah, he's arguably he's definitely one of the most, arguably the most loyal fan that we've brought over the past decade.
Anyway, his question is, given that summer is right around the corner, do you have any intention of having a gaming summer camp or play with the pros even for the local outreach?
Yeah, our HQ is currently under construction. We're going to have a lot more coming about that soon. Some real cool content around the HQ and what went into making our HQ, and I think people are really going to enjoy it. We're going to have it ready for the summer since it's our very first summer in there. Our efforts will probably be more narrowly focused and not doing like full-fledged large-size summer camps. We do currently have a plan in motion to do a smaller summer camp with a partner that's yet unannounced. I don't want to guarantee it 100%, but I'm pretty confident it's going to happen. And it's very important to us even though we are a global company and a global brand, to make sure that we're planting roots in the local community now that we all live here and there's a lot of gamers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to reach out to the local universities and the high schools and the parks and recs and all the different groups that are, active in our local community. So the future for our HQ and the larger Star property where we're filming right now definitely involves summer camps and really ways to kind of motivate the next generation to be interested in esports and what we're doing. Who knows, someday summer camps might even be like real sports. You're identifying talent very early on type of thing. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good question. And the answer is yes, we do have intention of having some kind of small summer camp at our headquarters this summer.
And even outside of any like special activities, I mean, our HQ is going to be open.
Yeah, the HQ is going to have a section open to the public, and we'll obviously get a lot more into that. But if you ever have any plans to come into the area this summer or, the next couple of years, plan on paying us a visit. Open doors.
I look forward to that for sure. A lot of people already asked me about it, so,
Pretty excited about it.
Who isn't? Next question. Dr. Waldo, also one of our fan elites.
The doc.
What are the panel's thoughts on the valuation of COD franchising? To add to that as a bit of a background, there was a report recently about 25 million or something per spot. And what does everyone think about orgs buying in? Or will we see new orgs popping up specifically to fill those slots? You want to take it, Scott?
The valuation is kind of what we expected and had been hearing for a little while. I'm no financial expert or anything like that, so it's hard to say. Your valuation is if somebody's going to pay for it, that's the valuation. So we've seen Overwatch slots, double from what they originally were. Coming down to, will orgs be buying in and we're going to see new? I think it's maybe a split. There's no real saying. Again, I don't know what's in your bank account. I don't know what's in your bank account. It's the same thing when we look at other orgs. You don't know what they're thinking or what their long-term plans are. But what I do know is we're going to get entertaining Call of Duty with the players that we have right now. So I think, the league's going to do very well once they get it kicked off.
Yeah, I mean, I think assuming the rumors are true, the rumors being 25 million, it's obviously a really large investment. I have no doubt, like Scott said, they'll be able to sell all the slots out. We're still waiting for a meeting with Activision to kind of get more information on our end. I think, the price point is definitely worthy of a serious consideration, right? It's a red blood game with bombs being planted and things, which is difficult with some sponsors in the ecosystem and can make it challenging. Knowing Activision and watching what they've done with Overwatch, if and when they do get the league off the ground, they're going to blow it up. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on cereal boxes and in stores everywhere, and they do a fantastic job running their league. And I have no doubt they'll be able to make Call of Duty far larger than it is now. We had an event here in Fort Worth last weekend. To be honest, the event here was completely packed out. I didn't make it over myself. It was my kid's spring break, but I heard it's just a sensational event. They put on a great product, but the viewership wasn't sensational. Most times I checked, it was like 40,000. I think it was like 80,000 for when Optic played. But if you also kind of study the trends of how Activision does things and understand the business rationale behind them, I think some COD fans are going to be really shocked to find out. And this is just speculation. Like I said, I don't have this information for sure, and I haven't met with them yet. And if I had, I'd be NDA'd and not be able to speculate. I don't think we're going to see some of our beloved COD brands in the league. It'll be like what Activision did was Houston Outlaws, and it was Dallas Fuel. It was not Optic Gaming. It was not MV Gaming. So if they decide to follow that same rationale, which would be an interesting business discussion I won't get into right now, I think a lot of fans are going to be mad if there's not an Optic Gaming or an MV or some of the more historic brands that have been in Call of Duty, because they're creating new franchise brands and creating new LLCs, and the players are getting hired, by those entities. I think it'll be really interesting because we spend a decent amount of time on COD Competitive on Reddit and feel that we have a pretty good finger on the pulse of the Call of Duty community, and I think they're going to be pissed. I think they're going to riot, to be honest with you. And if history is any indication, there will be new brands, and the old Call of Duty brands will not be in Call of Duty any longer. They might have like a sub brand, right? Like Optic Gaming owns the Houston Outlaws, and the colors and things and the vibe, they're very much the same. You kind of know it's them. But if you follow history, Optic Gaming will have a new sub brand, and the word Optic Gaming will not be in the league. That's just speculation again, but
I have a question. What do you think the chances are that they'll piggyback on the existing franchises from Overwatch and just add a COD division?
I thought about that, and it could totally be possible. I don't know, but I know they like to have these as standalone entities that can be sold later.
Gotcha.
So if they were to do that, now you've got Overwatch bleeding into Call of Duty, and maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll go that route. I suspect they would create new entity for Call of Duty, but they might go that route. You might have Dallas Fuel Call of Duty or Houston Outlaws Call of Duty.
Yeah, maybe they'll give each franchise the option to add it to their existing. Who knows?
Possibly. We'll see.
A lot to
be
figure
interesting the next 9 months watching this unfold, and we'll definitely be doing our homework and see if it makes sense for our brand. And like I said, regardless of what they do, they're going to build a banger of a league. Hopefully they can get viewership up and get the word out. And we know a lot of people in Call of Duty that are really great people, and wish them nothing but the best.
I don't know a lot about Call of Duty, but I will say that it's probably the only FPS that has kind of just stood the test of time as CS has developed over the last 15 years. So
yeah.
I haven't really, a lot of have come and gone, but Call of Duty just keeps putting out another expansion. It's just always a hit. So if any game can do it, I'm certain that would be the one.
Which is reflected in what Jason mentioned, the fan base. They have a very hardcore, dedicated, long-running fan base. A lot of them have been around
for sure,
just as long. So,
and they buy a new game every single year.
And I would say that they are very much. I don't know actually. I don't know this for a fact, but I would say there's a lot of PC COD players and there's a lot of console COD players. Like they're just kind of split. They're everywhere. People just love the game.
I play on PC.
All right, what's our next one?
Dr. Waldo, yet again, asking us about how the WSG events could potentially be improved. For those not aware, WSG events are those where it's 5 players from one nationality playing in those tournaments. They have one every year. It's basically like a World Cup kind of thing where it's just, 5 Chinese players, 5 Swedish players. But unfortunately, a lot of those don't get as much attention. And
well, it's because they cut out a lot of teams like ours right off the bat. There are a lot of multinational teams like us, FaZe. There's tons.
It's becoming the norm.
Yeah,
multinational is becoming the norm. I mean, you have groups like Astralis and things, but yeah, I'll be honest. I've seen some social media traffic, but I don't even feel qualified to speak to WESG. I haven't paid enough attention to it. Scott,
I think it's sort of like we had back in the day with WCG. Where we had like those national events, especially in Quake and especially like the European communities, but like the national route. As the internet got better, as our computers got better, it let us spread out and get these players from different countries. So I think the national route in esports is kind of over. Especially, we really never see it anymore. And the timing's just not right. You need, like, if you mentioned World Cup. World Cup is in summer, well, winter coming up too, but all the leagues in the world shut down. So, like, everyone can go represent their countries. Yeah. And this, we still got tournaments going on. Like, we couldn't have guys in China. We had ECS coming up. So it's just like the overlap is too much, and we need to be a fully united system where this is, it's a hard stop 2 weeks for national events. That's the only way we're ever going to get it done.
And just to further Scott's point, we've actually, without calling the player out, because, he didn't do anything wrong, but we had a circumstance like 2 years ago where we let a player go over to play. And it just completely messed up our practice schedule. Like we were trying to do right by the player, let him go participate. And, we ended up sitting out for it felt 2 weeks. So like for teams at home trying to grind, trying to be professional, it's not ideal at all.
Yeah.
Good point. Last question from Waldo. This one's for you, Warden. What team in NA do you enjoy playing the most?
I like the big teams. So
3D.
NRG, NRG, Liquid. I want to play the teams that are the mountain to climb. I like also when we beat them, we get quite a bit HLTV points to move up the rankings. So I like playing the good teams. But it looks like we have NRG's number right now. So I guess.
Oh, jeez, why would you say that? We play him like tomorrow, don't we?
Hey man, I don't believe in that shit.
Gonna
Well,
jinx
anyway,
it. You heard it
now
here
I feel
first.
like we're gonna lose.
You heard
He
it here
just-
first.
No, excuse me. Pardon my language.
Turn the paper over. I leave the company, Matt.
But I feel like we're playing well against them. Even back when we had Ye and Brad on the team, we've always felt like they had a little bit of a mental block versus us. Like, that not that they play bad, but just for some reason we kind of get their number a little more than they get ours. So that's a good match for us. And then Liquid's just tough. But I like playing against those guys because when you win a match like that, like you just exude confidence. Like you come out of there and you usually go on a tear. So I like the tough matches.
Yeah.
King Mansa wanted to know, and this is a bit of a spicy one, I would say. There were rumors of Cole eyeing oBo earlier in the week. Is there any truth to this? Jason, do you want to?
I mean, generally speaking, we don't like to discuss like active conversations. We feel it's not necessarily respectful to the player and the squad and the efforts we're making. But I will say this, we pride ourselves on identifying talent early and being able to develop talent. Like even Twist, who's now a rock star on Liquid, we were looking at him years ago before E-League even kicked off. And we obviously didn't end up working with him, but we saw that coming along. So if you hear of a Sam or an oBo or Tens or whatever else, like this guy's really on the come up. Like he's getting some momentum. He seems to be a really good guy. He's rocking in MDL or FPL or whatever. We're probably talking to him. Because if we weren't having at least conversations with these people to get to know these people and we think they might have potential to be a star someday, we'd be incompetent, in my opinion. So have we talked to oBo? Yeah. Have we talked to Sam? Yeah. Have we talked to others? Yeah. And we'll keep talking to them. And if we find the right guys, we're not afraid to pull the trigger and invest in young talent and develop that talent and hope we help them become stars and benefit in the process.
Second part of King Mansa's question, which I think we've addressed before, but I just wanted to talk about it again. Thoughts on an academy team or second team? People keep asking this. Literally.
I mean, I think it's great in concept, difficult in execution, right? It would be great to have a backup team that's always playing, maybe MDL, da-da-da-da. The reality is then that team wants to play in some qualifiers that our main team's playing in, and you can't do that, and there could be conflicts that arise. The reality also is when you're running an organization full throttle like we always do, you're always bandwidth constrained, meaning you only have so many people that can handle so many things and manage so many players. You're also budget constrained, even though, we have very deep pockets and are very blessed to have the investors we have. We want to run a business as practically and intelligently as we can. And having an academy team would come with all kinds of costs, everything from manager to travel, some kind of salary. Those things don't come free. So when you generally balance the cost of something versus the potential benefit of that entity, to date, we haven't found that an academy team is right for us. That doesn't mean we won't do one in the future. We're obviously committed to Counter-Strike and have been for, 15, 16 years now. But at the same time, it needs to make sense for where we are in our organization's evolution, and it needs to make sense, for what our future goals are. I have nothing against the idea, and Matt can speak to it. I don't see one in the immediate future, though. No.
Not to mention, I don't know how public this is, but I know it's not private information. But the leagues have made it a priority to suggest that they do not want this, and they're doing measures to make sure teams don't have academy teams. For the reasons he said, due to what happens if our team has a good weekend and they qualify for a close qualifier we're playing in. They come in as last seed, we come in as first. Now we're playing each other, and that's a problem for the leagues, for us, for everyone. So I don't think they're allowing them right now, but we were interested in one before and maybe in the future. All
right, cool. At Kush34, I'm pretty sure you alluded to this before, Jason, but I wanted to open this up again, also to Warden. In baseball, scouts look for 5 tools in a player. What are attributes you look at when scouting players?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'll let Matt answer that.
Yeah, there's a lot, to be honest. One of my biggest ones is like intelligence, not necessarily like on is the guy smart or dumb type level, but, like CS intelligence, like how aware is he? Is he just a point and clicker, or is he more of a team guy that's always paying attention to where his teammates are on radar and always looking for those holes? And instincts, awareness, intelligence, communication. those are high, really high, all 4 of those.
Yeah, you obviously have skill. You can't compete and be paid to play the game unless you're really damn good. We look for, maturity, personality if possible. Not everyone has to be the most gregarious, outgoing individual on the planet, but you also don't want to have to work multiple hours and travel the world with someone who's just toxic and negative and just kind of a jerk. I think all those things combine into the type of people we like to work with. And we're real happy with a lot of the people we've worked with over the years, even the ones we've had to part ways with. And, I think Matt put it really well.
All right. Next question from AA Round on Twitter. Thoughts on Mackwood's and Hogman's recent success, which I guess we covered already, and the future of Fortnite?
Yeah, we're still bullish on Fortnite. Very. Ford?
I mean, we just picked up Punisher's partner, Landjock, so we're continuing to invest in the game. And, we are just very, very excited for this World Cup coming up. We're going to be bringing our guys down here to Texas, so they're going to train just like our Dota and CS teams do. They're going to get all the resources they need. And, we want to go into New York and come home with that big prize.
And there's also a lot of content coming up surrounding Fortnite. We've shot a lot of stuff with the players there.
A lot of content coming up for Fortnite.
So, like you said, I think we're very bullish on Fortnite still. And then the last question, very appropriate to close it with a question from Oxy, also from Discord. This is a CS question, so I'm going to direct it to you again, Matt.
Sure.
Do you prefer the current 3 to 5 rule when it comes to major spots? Or would you rather be it similar to what it is in Dota right now, where it is more based on the org?
If I had it my way, I think the 3 to 5 rule makes more sense, personally. I think it's also, if we're answering it from the org stance, maybe we would want it to be org-based. But if I'm a player and I've played in the major, I think the 3 to 5 rule makes sense.
Yeah, we just saw this in Call of Duty, a big reason that this rule exists. Like he said, as an org owner, I'd like the ability that, hey, our org is invested alongside the players and we've earned the spot. Sure, I would love to own the spot. But what happens is if you get org owners, let's say with questionable integrity or questionable business judgment, recently, and not saying that this is the case with what I'm about to refer to because I don't know, but recently there's a lot of drama in the Call of Duty community because an org qualified, right? And then Scott can explain, dumped all the players and got all new players. So the people that actually put in the work and actually did the fragging and qualified are instantly gone. The org owns the spot, and it's much more complicated than that. There's always a lot of things going on, but that's kind of what the 3 out of 5 rule is about, making sure that at least 3 of the 5 players that earn the spot, have a vested interest in the spot. There's arguments on both sides, but I think it's important from time to time you see when that rule is not in place, good people get screwed over.
100%.
I think even from a Dota perspective, I mean, up until this season, it's been that way too with the 3 to 5 rule, and I think it has worked and has proven to work, at least for the players.
Yep.
All right, this closes up this week's show.
Nice short show.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
We missed one segment though, the beef visa section.
Oh, the visa section.
If you want to bring it up,
I mean, we can bring it up. There is a good update.
There is an update.
Can we say it?
Of course, we can say it.
Sure.
Why not?
Do you want to say it?
Of
your
course
beef's today.
I'm in beef seat, so
Visa update.
Adam on the Dota team has had his visa approved, and within the next couple days, he'll be on a flight from Germany to here to join us in the U.S.
There it is. Thanks, Doug.
Another update is Ricky's visa's coming along a little bit too.
Yeah,
There's been progress in Ricky as well, so
Yeah,
we
we're
are
looking good.
We're hoping
very
to get out of
excited.
visa hell for the time being. Soon.
Very
Yes.
soon.
No, it's looking
Now,
good.
I'm glad you brought that back because I was actually not sure if we could share that, but yeah.
Now you can always share it.
Very
There
good
we go.
news. Very good news. And I look forward to the next week's show when we can talk about more good news.
Absolutely.
teaser.
Sounds good, man.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. Thanks
Thank you
everybody
for
for listening
watching.
in.
If you're still watching, you're a Form Elite. Fan Elite. Used to be called Form Elite.
Get those points.
That's it. Leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.